us, they need us, they need us. We are the children.
Welcome, this is Film Talk. It's about filmmaking practices from Film Lab Nigeria, powered by We Entertainment. We Entertainment is a member of M Group Limited Lagos. Check www.filmlab.ng and watch YouTube videos at www.filmlab.ng/filmtalk. Now, before 2008, she graduated first class, joined honors in Business Information Systems and Management from Middlesex University, UK. In 2020, she's just finished her production firm House of Cleopatra shoot of Just Before 30, following resourceful acting and special effects makeup stints. I personally believe that Cleopatra Starrets, home and abroad in Nollywood, Nigeria, and United Kingdom, whether as an actor, special effects makeup specialist, or producer, has proven herself a film industry talent. Welcome, Cleopatra Starrets.
Thank you very much for having me. Hello and hi everyone.
You look beautiful as usual. So the first thing we're going to do is to watch a trailer of your movie, Just Before 30. You know, it is directed by LANCELOT ODUWA IMASUEN in collaboration with the House of Cleopatra, your own firm. Let's watch this, please.
These past years of my life have been like a waste. I had this void in my heart. There was an old woman who kept coming to me in my dreams and asking me to come.
Why did you have to take me going to get a DNA to know that you're not my parents?
I only gave her the direction to the Enoughi's palace. Hopefully, she gets her answers from you.
I'm only here in search of my mother.
Who is your mother?
Enough, whatever you call yourself. If you see the art, the drama that this woman put up near Paibunago's house, you will be surprised. I love you something you're not here. Well, let me inform you. I am the one you see.
And Mr. and Mrs. Edwards says, today is my birthday. I knew it in my heart that I would find you before I turn 30.
How was it Just Before 30? Why did you choose to come home to Benin Kingdom and shoot Just Before 30, Cleopatra?
Well, I mean, first of all, my father is Benin. My father is from Benin. He's from the Ashere family, and the town. So why not? To start my first thing as a filmmaker, LANCELOT was just a blessing. So I can say to that.
How does the title, Just Before 30, mirror the essential theme of maternity or parenthood? A lot of people go out to look for their parents. Some of us know our parents, some of us don't know our parents. So we make efforts to go look for them, because if you don't know your parents, it could be very disheartening.
Yeah. I mean, you get to a point where, especially if you were born abroad and you find that you're adopted, at a point in time, you might start feeling a bit out of place, and Just Before 30 is somebody who felt the same way. She was raised by a good family, was raised by one parent, and they gave her the best life offer. But at the same time, she still that void, and especially she started having dreams that she needed to go to find who her true parents are. Okay, so for somebody, my character, for instance, it was important for her to actually find out who she is, because she probably had experienced situations where maybe people would raise the fact that she was adopted, and it didn't matter when she started having very dreams about the fact that she needed to go home. And when she answered home, she met her parents. She met her father, she met her mother. So you will see who actually her father turned out to be. It's a very interesting movie, but it's very important. Maybe in the Western world, people might not take that seriously. Adopted, you don't have to think about who your family or whatever. But if you're an African, your roots are very important. And so wherever you go, come back home to find being by your parents. So that's what the film is about.
Yeah, talking about finding your roots, and I begin to also think that this is like globalizing a localized story. So what has DNA, science-based tests, got to do with, would it help globalize this story?
I mean, why not? I think so. I mean, if you notice, over the last few weeks, you've had situations where some men have either killed or maimed or hurt their spouse because they found out that their children that they thought were their kids were not. Some of them had raised the kids to grown, to maybe 18, 19, 20, and some of them had little babies and found out that they're not their children. Can imagine the devastation that would be. So I think DNA, especially in a place like Africa that is not very common, is very essential. There's a saying that says only a woman knows who the true true father of children are. It's just the truth. It's a shame to admit it, but that's just how it is nowadays.
Is it a common issue in the UK where you are?
No, I wouldn't say that. I think it's just a global thing. I don't think it's a common issue. I don't think it's more prevalent in some societies than others. People that are predisposed to be promiscuous or to have extramarital affairs are just as popular here or in Africa or anywhere else. I don't think it's common here in the UK to Nigeria. I don't think so at all. No.
The role you played, how would you evaluate the mental state of the person actually looking for a parent she probably doesn't know?
Yeah, I mean, I have to get into that mindset to be able to play that character. And like I always say that movie actually, the filming of that character was very emotional for me. I have to say, because there was a lot of tears, a lot of heartache. I had to think to myself, thank God I have not had that experience before, but I had to put myself in that position where, yeah, I have everything I need in life. My adopted parents are very nice to me, but I still feel that void. God is thicker than water, say. I still feel that void. How would I feel when I'm having dreams that look like nightmares? And it's important that I have to go home to find out what that dream is about. And the emotions, the emotional roller coaster that you will go through. Okay, what am I going to expect? Going to a place where I've never been, I didn't grow up in. It's a new place for me. Fine, I was born in Africa. I was raised in the United Kingdom. So what am I going to expect? What's going to happen? Will they receive me? Would I even find them at home? The challenges and obstacles, the setbacks you have in the process of trying to find out who your real parents are. So it was quite a draining, emotionally draining role to play, but it was quite fun as well.
Because recently I watched a movie or a news item on BBC or CNN where an Asian girl that had long been adopted by American parents suddenly realized that she did not belong. And she went all out to look for her parents. And the American parents were trying to stop her from looking for her biological parents. So it became a court case, and she won the case. In that situation in Africa, how did you resolve that issue within this story?
In Africa, the law in Africa is quite different from the Western world, And so even though she was granted that sort of judgment, in Africa, it's a little bit different because anything can happen. They can twist the law to suit them or whatever. So I cannot really say, and because I'm not so used to how the law is in regards to such situations in Africa, it's very, very difficult for me to comment. But suffice it to say that anyone going through a situation like that, it's important for them to at least endeavor to find ways of getting to the bottom of it. There is also the issue about surrogacy as well, where you want somebody else to carry your child, or maybe somebody else to donate their eggs and give it to you, and then you get pregnant, and then who knows? So the woman might turn back 15, 20, 30 years later and say, "Give me back my child. That child was my egg, even though you paid me for it," and all that. But that's where they are now, where it's say, if I paid you for it, that's it. You've signed it off and you cannot come back and all that. And usually nowadays, practitioners will say, you don't need to know who it is that gave you the egg. You don't need to know them. It's just one-off transaction, and that's it. So they're putting things in place to check things like that. But when it comes to adoption and things like that, some children don't even bother with their parents, because some of them are angry, and I will say, you to me. Why should I bother with you? I don't know you. I know somebody who actually enough. I know somebody who, one man, and the sister found out about the half sister and tried to get him to reconcile with their father. And the guy said, "Look, I don't want to know him. I am happy with the father that I have. He looked after me when I was growing up. So I need him. Tell him not to call me. I don't want anything to do with him." That was it. What can you do?
A lot of emotions there involved, Well, I'm still talking to Cleopatra Starrets. I like saying she's a dual citizen of home base of Nollywood and Nollywood, United Kingdom. I saw a mark on your face. I don't know if those were tears of the very emotions you are talking about, on your chin, really. Was that a makeup, or in your role in Just Before 30, or you were actually crying?
I was crying. I was bawling my eyes out. That's what it was. It was just tears. Yes, it was just tears. But yes, I have done quite a few special effects in my time. And unfortunately, I don't know if we'll be able to see any of them. But yeah, the hallmark of a good special effects makeup artist is to have outcomes that are very realistic and very believable. And from aging yourself, there are some of my special effects makeup where I actually aged myself to look like I was 90-something years old. Some of them, giving somebody a very deep scar, like a knife cut on the face, or somebody that gave them like back burns, like first-degree burns. Some other people have, given them like a dog ate their hands and just beat off the skin, and you can see the bones, So different things. So that looks really realistic, and I love it. And to think somebody like me who naturally doesn't like blood, I don't like anything gooey and But if you're gonna do this sort of thing, you have to fight that fear and that, phobia of blood. And I had to be able to do a good job at it. So yeah.
So what do you rely on most to transform any character in any movie or any screenplay? Is it the physical look of the player or the scriptwriter's description?
It's definitely the scriptwriter's description, because at the end of the day, you can transform anybody to become anything. But at the end of the day, you have to make sure you're in sync with the director, not just so much the scriptwriter, even the director, because the director, it's his gig, it's his responsibility to interpret the story the way he wants it. So if I come on set, for instance, and I had an idea to do, I don't know, special effects on someone, and maybe just a little cut, and he says, "No, I don't want cut. I actually want, a burn here and a big bullet wound here and whatever." I have to go with what he says, because at the end of the day, he's the one that's interpreting the story, and he knows what the actor is. So, and I'll just have to go with it. I can suggest, based on my expertise and my experience, I can suggest, but at the end of the day, ultimately, is what he says. Usually they listen, it's good, but if he says, "No, I actually want it this way, then so be it.
Have you ever, sat in an audition to actually audition people before you actually do the makeup transformation?
I haven't, funny enough, I haven't yet. But that would be very interesting, because sometimes you might find there are some actors who you would make up to have a certain persona, but they are not really getting into the character themselves. So they do a disservice to the special effect because they are not becoming what they look like physically. So you're looking at the person, you're thinking, oh, okay, but it's not really, I'm not believing him. What I can see, what he's portraying are two different things, So it will be nice that a situation where, while auditioning, I can ask them questions with regards to what I see that character to be. And I'll say to them, if you were so and so and so, how would you react if you looked like this? Just to get a gauge of how they would actually portray that character and bring it to life. Yeah.
Yeah, just to get this home. Have you ever had to transform yourself personally? I know you've acted in movies. So what do you do with your own self personally?
Okay. For a movie, I haven't yet transformed myself, funny enough, because they usually like as I am. They don't want me to change anything. But on my own, I have transformed myself several times. Usually it's an older woman, or I transformed myself to a woman in her 50s with, certain wrinkles and certain looks or whatever. Maybe a church woman, not very glamorous or whatever. But most of the time, I transform myself into a very old woman with very rotten teeth, and like she's just not, she's not.
I saw one like that. So let me ask you,
Yes.
in a situation where you are being made up or when you are about to be made up by say, another person, how would you instruct a novice?
Is it for special effects?
Yes.
Or for makeup? Okay, for special effects.
Yes.
Okay, I haven't had that either.
Okay.
Because normally, if I'm on set and I'm also an actor, they let me do both.
Oh, yeah.
They would pay me for both because they trust my work and they don't want anybody else to stand in the way of total package kind of thing. So no one has made yet for special effects, but if they are going to, I guess I'll probably be the fussy type because I know what it's like to be trained, not just, by reading a book or whatever. I've had the practical experience and I've done it for years now. So I know what it looks like. I've done research. You're going to come to be someone like me to do my makeup, especially. You better bring it because we'll challenge you if it's not right. Because I am all about reality and making it authentic and very believable. If it's not, I would call you up to it because at the end of the day, you want to make a good movie. You want them to believe what you're putting out there, and if you're going to do it on, it has to be good.
So in looking at your profession as a special effects makeup person, what's the clear difference between the two? Do you migrate from makeup to special effects or the other way around? How do you, develop yourself to take those roles in a specialist way?
Okay. So when I actually started, I have been doing just makeup for decades. That's the truth. I have been doing that for a long time. And I actually featured in 2009, I was one of the makeup artists for the fashion diversity here in London, in the UK. So I've done makeup for runway and weddings, and people have actually sponsored me to go over to Dubai or the States or whatever and do their makeup. But now anybody can do makeup, but not everybody can do special effects, and especially great special effects. And I wanted to differentiate myself in that way. So now I don't like people referring to me as a makeup artist because I am not a makeup artist. I'm a special effects makeup artist.
Okay. You played various characters between April 2017 and November 2018 for various studios, independent producers inclusive. Then your own House of Cleopatra in just before 30. How does it feel transforming from, one character role to the other? Because I've seen here that you played a beauty store owner, you played immigration officer, you played philanthropist, you played fashion designer, preacher's wife. You played all kinds of roles. How does it feel transform, moving from one role to the other over time?
I love it. I love it. I love it. It's wonderful. You know, and I think the beauty about being an actor is the ability to become very versatile, you know, and you have to be able to be versatile. If not, why are you an actor? An actor is actually taking on a character of something you are not and making somebody else to believe that you're actually that character. That's why you find that sometimes you're so good in a particular role that when people see you outside, they actually think that's who you are. And some of them, if it's a good character, they love you. If you're a bad character, they cannot stand you, they curse you out, they insult you, they abuse you, and you're thinking, but that's not who I am, though. But must be that I did a very good job. Do you know what I mean? So, you know, but that's what it is. You know, there are people that I admire in the industry who have really inspired me because they really know how to become. I remember when I was in school, my teacher would say to me, "Don't act, just be, you know," and you have to do all kinds of exercises, you know, mind exercises, and get to that character and let it envelop, like the spirit of that character comes in you and you become that person. That's the only way you can actually, people will believe you. So I think it's a lot, you know, to actually be very versatile and be a believable character, whatever role you find yourself.
From my list here, from the list of your filmography, most of the roles you played seem to speak to me in a way about the fate of women in the UK, probably also the fate of women. Would you say, I'm beginning to perceive that this title sort of make me begin to feel that women are insecure. You have Maids of Docklands, you have Sisters in the Diaspora, The Marriage, The Ring, The Preacher's Wife who's an adulterer, blah, 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 blah. What is the fate of women? What are these movies trying to tell about the fate of women? You acted in them, so maybe you probably felt the same way I feel.
No, I don't feel women are insecure. I actually think it's actually the opposite. They are very strong women. Whether it's in a good way or in a bad way, they're actually quite strong. Take plus size, for instance. I wasn't a lead there, you know, for that one. I actually played a PA in that, you know, to the lead character. And this lady is a plus size, and she's actually a model. So that gives you an idea of what that woman is like. She has the inner strength, not allowing her size to determine where she wants to go and what she wants to become. You know, that's strength to me. You know? And if you're talking about her preachers, you know, she's a strong personality that has a student, because she's hiring and firing anybody who she likes and all kinds of stuff. But it takes a sort of confidence to be able to do that. You know, it's not everybody that has. So I would say, you know, the character, even though it seems as if it's mainly women or female oriented, but each of them has a different side of woman that it portrays. And that's not to say they're all female-based films. Actually, male-based films, they are all, it's a nice blend. I'm a woman, so I have to play the female character, you know.
Which brings us to the next question. What, in the aggregate sense, would help a woman prove her strength? Yes, let me ask you. In aggregate, what would you aggregate as a driving force that could probably or will always make women prove they have strength? Because I grew up to believe that men are the head, women are the neck, and they twist the head anyhow they like.
Absolutely. Is there any doubt about that?
So I think women are naturally powerful. They have a lot of strength, you know. So when women begin to want to prove their strength, I begin to wonder.
I don't think women want to prove their strength. I really don't think that is the case. I think sometimes a woman might feel or might be made to feel like she is not important or she's relegated to the background. And if you're a woman who is very strong, you would want to rebel against it and say, no, you're not going to push me to the background. I have a voice, I have a say, and I can express myself. I believe, though, that true strength actually comes from within and from how, from your work, from your results. It's not so much about saying it, it's actually letting your work speak for itself, letting how you carry yourself speak for itself. There are some women who are very quiet naturally. They don't even speak. They're very soft. I used to have a friend like that. And I still have a few friends like that. They are very quiet, very unassuming and all that. But if you get in their presence and you speak with them, you see that they actually are strong stuff. They are really strong women. But they don't have to, broadcast it and scream all over the place. Sometimes even the women that scream and shout, they're actually not as strong as you think they are.
That's why Shaggy says, don't underestimate the power of a woman.
Absolutely.
So you've acted for studios like Universal Pictures, you've acted for Don Pedro, and you acted for Olajide Abisayo, who was my head of production services in Minaj. How did these experiences build up to your being a movie entrepreneur in the case where you had to also produce Just Before 30?
Yeah, I mean, each of those people and the others that have not been mentioned have been very monumental in terms of my learning curve. I learned one or two things from them in one way or another, either how to relate to people on set, or how to actually shoot a movie, how to get into character, or even what happens if the movie has been shot. What do you do? So each of them has something that I have learned from. I'm very grateful to them. They have in the game way before if I have any sense. People like me are like a sponge. Any opportunity I find myself, I want to suck out as much as I can just to better myself. And I've had that opportunity, and I'm very grateful to them. They've been really good. All the people that I'm working with right now, in the near future, when we have that discussion on those names, for now it's a surprise, but there's some people that we learned from. Also, I've had the opportunity to work with people that I would say, oh, okay, maybe I'm not quite sure, but that's also because you learn how to and how not to relate with people. So when you see the way somebody else is on set, and I did not like you when this said this, that, and the other, I will learn from that. So then I'm shooting mine, I'm not going to be this. Do you know what I mean? So you take the rough with this, learn from both experiences.
So from your recent experience in producing Just Before 30, what's the difference between the Nigerian or Nollywood production environment and Nollywood UK production environment? How did you cope with coming home to produce Just Before 30?
Okay. So I was told when I was.
I mean, we are, so in Nigeria you could be shooting a movie and a car will boop, past the movie set,
Yes.
the part that we power failure, blah blah blah,
I was told when I was coming to Nigeria, like, okay, everything you've learned in the UK and everything you do in the UK,
put them down and adapt yourself.
and prepare for the unexpected and expect the unexpected.
Yeah.
If you're expecting somebody to be on set at 8 o'clock, when you call somebody on set at 8 o'clock, forget it. That's not going to happen. You just need to be a bit more flexible. And the reason I said that was by nature, every single person who knows me knows that I'm a stickler for time. I cannot stand lateness. I cannot stand tardiness. I think time is money. So if you're late, you rub me off the wrong way, And so when I was going to like, if you think you're going to do all this, your British whole thing here, you're wasting your time. Just relax yourself, but you're going to Nigeria. So when I got to Nigeria, I had just like, okay. And sometimes I was like, all right, I'll try and be a bit more relaxed. But if I find out that it's getting ridiculous, like there was one time I called set time for the call time to be, I think it was about 9 o'clock. And somebody turned up and I was like, really? She goes, oh, were we really going to start at 9? And I'm thinking, really? And I had to really let it let this be the last time, because at the end of the day, time is money, and it's be responsible. I said, if you're shooting a movie next time, I pray that one day, if you're shooting your movie in 3 hours after call, how do you feel? That's my money. That's the time. You still expect me to pay you your full wages at the end of the day. Don't do that to people. So I'm still, but when I'm in Nigeria, I try to make allowances for just traffic. I say to them, usually I get everybody on the same set. And I just pay them to stay on set that day for the period we're shooting so that there's no excuse. Everybody is so lively. Everybody is fun. Everybody is so bubbly. There's life. There's spontaneity. There's this camaraderie. Everybody is screaming and shouting and laughing. And when it's time to be quiet, people are quiet. You know. So yes, you get the old cut shooting their home when you're shooting, and you cut start again and all that. But that's part of the fun, isn't it? So I can't really complain. It's really fun shooting in Nigeria, I have to say.
Yeah, I'm still talking to Cleopatra Starrets, you know, UK-based Nollywood actor, special effects artist. He came back home and shot just before 30. A unique experience in locating a parent that you never knew when probably you were adopted by somebody else. So we were talking about acting alongside Emma Thompson, and you said you didn't actually meet her in person, though you saw her from afar. So I usually want to know what kind of trade secrets the filmmakers that I talk to have, because in a way, this will go to educate those that are also aspiring to become filmmakers. So you have this skill set of filmmaking, special effects, makeup artistry, you also sing and present. In the process of, doing any of this, how do they collect or collage to help you spin out whatever, achieve whatever you want to achieve?
Each of these skill sets that I have, and I'm really grateful to God for each one of them, each of the skill sets have something to offer. But when I look at every single one of them, they all boil down to the fact that each of the things I do, have confidence to do them. As a singer, you stand of thousands of people sing. As a presenter, you don't know how many people watching you, Actor, the same thing. Especially if makeup artist, if you are going to be training anybody or teaching them or whatever, you have to be comfortable to be able to present to them, get to understand what you're trying to communicate. So for me, as a filmmaker, each of them has helped me to become what I am today, in terms of being able to deliver a conversation or a role or present with a level of and poise, and that requires to be able to communicate and deliver, say. I think each has helped me in one way or another. Yeah, so and I would say anybody trying to get into this role as a filmmaker or what they need to do, one of the things that one needs to be able to do, especially if you're going to be in front of the camera, just because you're behind, you don't need to have the kind of personality people want to gravitate to, it matter because you're behind the camera. But if you're in front of people, you have to have that people will want to gravitate toward, listen to, connected to, feel that you're able, friendly, and so on and so forth. So, and I'd like to feel a little bit of this quality. I'm still work in progress.
So it is often said that when a mind is too scientific and there is no study of humanity, that's why they encourage people, some scientists or technologists in school, to read some bit of, do electives in humanities. And as an IT consultant and as an artist, how do these, career paths influence each other, in your life? How do they actually impact your life when you are either there or either here?
Okay, so to be honest with you, if you look at it from a layman's perspective, there are two diametrically opposed entities. They're so different. How can you be a consultant and you're an actor? It doesn't even make sense, okay? But for some reason, God enabled me to make both of them work. I guess for an IT, one of the things I guess that's what is crossed over to my being a filmmaker. As an IT consultant, we're very structured. When I was doing management with about delivering projects on time, delivering projects the budget, delivering projects that are actually the purpose, you know. So when I'm actually making a film, I'm thinking about call time, I'm thinking about, you know, okay, by so and so, to be able to do this, this, that, and the other. Okay, this is how much we have spent for so and so and so. And actually, the kind of quality I expect for the money I'm spending, stuff like that. And I think my experience as a project manager and as an analysis manager has helped me be good at that. So even though they're opposed in terms of, you look at it from the layman's perspective, look at it from the analytical perspective, they do.
That's right. It's the reason why I even asked you a question. I know that when you were a young person, you actually read science, but you also acted. And so when you finish all that technology, scientific journey, you now say, look, I'm going to settle for this. Yeah, I'm still talking to Cleopatra Starrets, a filmmaker, special effects artist, makeup artist. She shouldn't be called makeup artist. She's a presenter, songwriter, singer. I wish she could sing for us, but she won't. So if you're looking out for her online, you look up for the lady that's made up and dressed in a red, colorful, and feathery outfit for House of Cleopatra. You can check her Instagram handle at House of Cleopatra Limited and House of at Cleopatra Starrets. On Twitter, she's C Starrets and HRH G Cleopatra. It's been so nice talking to you. Do you want to leave a homily for us to go home with as we finish the program?
Yes, I'd like to say for those people who are trying to get into the industry, either as an actor or behind the scenes, producing or whatever, please make sure you have a passion for the industry and for what you do. Make sure it's your calling. Because if it's your calling, you will get challenged. Trust me, it's not prophesied, it's just, okay. You will be challenged, get setbacks. People will knock on people's doors, people will say no. You will hear people say, oh, can I think without you? But at the end of the day, those setbacks be actually the motivating factor to help you be what you want to be. And keep saying to yourself, I can, I will, I can, I will, and don't let anything stop you. But make sure it is your calling. Because if it's not your calling, later you will get discouraged and fall by the wayside. This is a tough industry. Only the best would survive it, put it that way, because when you get knocked down, sometimes you might just give up. If you're strong and this is your calling, you will succeed. Hang in there.
I will also add that you went on to become a consultant, IT consultant, and that helped you build your artistic career. So I'll also add that if you know that you're having some tough time being an artist, you could also look for a day job to survive while you're pursuing your career. Yes. Because that's a mistake a lot of people do. They focus so much on overcoming the challenges of becoming artists by all means, even when you have the passion. My brother and sister, look for something to feed your stomach before you continue on.
Now, as an actor,
yes.
Now, I still am looking for other opportunities to make income, whether as a job or an investment or whatever. Yeah. Because the truth about the matter is, acting doesn't really pay very much yet. It will happen. It will happen, and things will get better. But for now, you definitely need another income. So educate yourself. You don't have to have a PhD degree, but train yourself something. Whether it's dressing, whether it's carpentry, whether it's a farmer you are, whether it's selling at McDonald's, so what? You know, but make sure you have a income to keep you going till you blow, say Nigeria.
That's it. I want to thank you so much for coming on this program. I look forward to having you again. I don't know if you're doing your next project immediately, but I would also love to interview you again and talk to you again about your new project. Thank you so much for coming, Cleopatra.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
All right, but that has been Film Lab, Film Talk from Film Lab. Like I said before, you can watch Film Lab, Film Talk at filmlab.ng/filmtalk. Check our blog, forum and short video contest, and a whole lot, We are on Facebook and Instagram too. Thank you for watching. Thank you so much.
They need us, they need us, they need us.